Hello and welcome. Stay tuned for this edition of Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. From the county's African American and Cultural Center to the War of 1812, we'll take an exciting look at celebrating our history. I'm your host, Council Chair Andrea Harrison. Telling Our Story in Prince George's County comes your way in just a moment.
The leading cause of tooth decay, which is the #1 chronic childhood disease. Ugh, that ain't no fairy tale. What?
Tell the kids of America how to prevent tooth decay.
Do I get a superhero costume? A tooth fairy?
Kids of America.
You gotta brush them, floss them, and rinse them twice a day.
Visit the dentist and go to americastoothfairy.org to help rescue a kid from pain.
Let's get her done.
Welcome to Telling Our Story in Prince George's County, a production of the Prince George's County Council. Our story is about caring people and vibrant communities, our children, youth, and families, our great opportunities for culture, and our rich history. A wonderful place to visit, featuring our past, present, and a future full of promise. This is Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. Insight, knowledge, and perspective on the things that matter to us all, with your host, Council Chair Andrea C. Harrison.
Hi, welcome to Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. This program is a production of the Prince George's County Council. I'm your host, Andrea Harrison. Telling Our Story in Prince George's County offers a unique opportunity for us to come together and share some of the great stories taking place in our communities. I believe our success as the county depends in part on our ability to tell our own story and to know our history, and that's why we're here today. I'm excited to introduce my first guests. Both are representing the Prince George's County African American and Cultural Center at North Brentwood. Lillian Beverly is the president of the board of directors, and Yolanda Evans is the director of media and public programs. Thank you both for joining me here on Telling Our Story in Prince George's County.
Thank you for having us.
Mayor Beverly, and I can't help but call you Mayor Beverly, you're not only the president of the board of directors for the museum, but you and your family are actually a part of our county's history. You served as the first female mayor of the town of North Brentwood. Your father and nephew were also both mayors of North Brentwood, and that's just a small part of the rich history. Tell us more about your family's public service to the community and the significant historical perspective of North Brentwood.
Well, North Brentwood, the first settlers arrived around 1896, and that was the Randall family. Colonel Bartlett, he was a captain in the Civil War, and the first African Americans to move into North Brentwood were not in his troop. However, they found their way to North Brentwood. We settled near the river, as African Americans always were settled near the river. My family came later. My grandfather, James L. Jasper, founded the First Baptist Church at North Brentwood, so we've always worked in the church. My father, he was the mayor in the 40s. He served 2 terms, and my nephew came in the late 80s and early 90s, and he died during his 2nd term in office. He taught in the county. So I came along, and in the meantime, I had been the town treasurer, and I decided to run for the mayor. So we've been working in the town all our lives, and this is important because when I say we, North Brentwood was a poor community. We were self-sufficient because we were on the Route 1 corridor, and during the time of segregation, we did not have any facilities for African Americans. So we used the facilities in the community. We had coal people, the coal and wood folks, and we had the beauticians. We had the stores, we had a doctor, we had a lawyer, and we also had one of the Rosenwald schools. So North Brentwood was rather self-sufficient, poor but proud.
I was going to say self-sufficient. We're also joined by Yolanda Adams. She's a director of media and public programs at the museum. And among many events that you're involved with is a recently opened exhibit A Struggle for Dignity, an artistic exploration of slavery and emancipation by Curtis G. Woody. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this is one of the most compelling exhibits that I've been a part of at the museum, and it's because the artist calls it art quilts. That's what he calls the paintings. And what he has done is used historical newspapers and incorporated those in his works of art. And we have about 24 pieces, and it is a feature on slavery and emancipation as it relates to Prince George's County. And I think that anyone who is interested in seeing just a fabulous exhibit full of rich and colorful artwork, they should really stop in at Gallery 110.
And how long will the exhibit be on display?
It will be there until October 27th, and the gallery is open from Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m.
Why is this museum and cultural center so important for the residents of Prince George's County and for Prince George's County as a whole?
Well, we need the residents, the new residents. The original Prince Georgians, they know how, have an idea of the contributions made by our forefathers to the development of Prince George's County. And when I say forefathers, I'm talking about Afro-Americans. But the new settlers are not aware of the contributions that were made. And in the school system, we had a first-rate school system. And we also had all of these programs for children, even though we had to walk from one community to the other. The original communities are the ones that participated. And the original communities, as we all know, were North Brentwood, Eagle Harbor, Fairmont Heights, and Glen Arden. The other communities are African-American communities, but they were settled by the white settlers initially. So therefore, we had to let everyone know what contributions were made.
The museum actually offers a great educational opportunity. Talk about some of the programs that you have for both adults and for children.
Well, to go along with this exhibit, because the artist calls his works of art quilt paintings, we have a quilting series, and we encourage not only seniors, because people think when they hear quilting they think of seniors, but we also encourage young people to get involved in the quilting series. We have a book club, and the book club goes along with each exhibit, so we will read books that focus on slavery and emancipation. And we have a film and lecture series to go along with this exhibit. But as far as the education programs are concerned, we do have our Culture Keepers program, which is at Suitland High School, their Visual and Performing Arts Center, and we will have one at Golson, thanks to the County Council, this fall. And we have an Early Keepers program that is focused on 3 to 5-year-olds.
Okay. Now, what is explain the cultural aspect of the museum?
Well, and Mayor Beverly talked about why this museum is important to the community. The other reason that it is important is because of the cultural aspect that African Americans they've helped shape the cultural community of Prince George's County. And this facility gives them a place to come and talk about those cultural aspects that we've contributed to Prince George's County. And we can do that through the film and lecture series, because each of our programs are geared to the exhibit. We're going to talk about how slavery helped shape the current culture in Prince George's County, and how we need to grow not only from emancipation, but now we're in the 21st century, and we need to be growing and moving forward and not focusing on our past, but looking forward to our future.
And how the culture has shaped where we are today. Okay. The County Council included $1 million in its budget for the capital project, the Capitol building project for the museum, but you still are in need of public and community support. You want to talk about how the community can actually get involved?
Well, the community, first of all, we have these programs. Each month there's a different program, and you can also become a member. And if you become a member, you look on the website. And I think it's Matt Thorne, PG. Let's see, Prince George's African American Museum and Cultural Center.org. I'm not a computer person, so I have to say the entire thing. So if you look on that, it will tell you the type of memberships you can apply for, and what everything. We also have requests for people who want to sponsor programs. Now, these programs that were already are named, if you want to be one who sponsors the young people, the early kids, then you decide, I would like to participate. And to do that is X number of dollars. So we do that, and that makes it very effective, and that's why we need these things.
Now, why is membership important?
Membership's important because with membership, you can do several things. You can be a sponsor, and you can pay the big bucks. And that's what we need, the big bucks always, because that is what keeps the programs moving and enables us to move ahead with the continued building or improving of our museum. Right now we are just in the first phase. And the first phase is the office. We bought the bakery, we own this land, and it's from Wallace Road to Webster Street in North Brentwood on Rhode Island. Because initially we were the only all African American community on Rhode Island Avenue. Now with that, we have just remodeled that to the tune of $500,000. But we did receive a small matching grant, not for the entire $500, from the county. So that assisted us in moving ahead also. But now we need to go into the large capital campaign. And we have found that, and from reading, that instead of having a huge building, you're going to build in phases. And we are about to start in phases. Phase 1 was the completion of the office building, office complex. So we own the office complex. And then next door is where we're going to have the first phase, which will house the art center. When I say art center, I'm talking about the theater, Black Box Theater. And we'll have a kitchen there, and we'll have the exhibits. So that would be very nice, and we won't have to rent. We will be owning it ourselves. So the building is located in the old Dearner complex. That will be raised, and we will be from Wallace Road to Webster Street.
I know that you're also seeking support, volunteer support. So what would a volunteer do, and how can one get information on volunteering?
Well, I invite them to visit the website, www.pgaamcc.org. And we have volunteer information on our website, but they help us from hosting the programs to exhibiting for us. We have a small staff, but there are many opportunities for us to exhibit and make sure the public understands we're there and all the beautiful programs that we have for the community. So they would help us with programs, administrative help. There are vast opportunities for volunteers.
You have a couple of other programs or events that occur throughout the month. You want to just briefly and really quickly talk about a couple of those?
Well, Unwind Wednesday is the first Wednesday of each month. It's really our membership drive. We always look for sponsors for that event, and it's held at 4519 Rhode Island Avenue, which is our admin office. And it's an opportunity to network, but also become a member and support the programs at the museum.
Well, very good. So once again, if you would give us the website address and perhaps even the street address for our viewers so that they'll know.
The website is www.pgaamcc.org, and the exhibition is located at Gallery 110, 3901 Rhode Island Avenue in Brentwood, Maryland, 20722. Our admin office, 4519 Rhode Island Avenue in North Brentwood, 20722.
Well, Mayor Beverly and Yolanda Evans, thank you so much for joining us and talking about some of the cultural aspects that we do have here in Prince George's County, because what we're doing is we're telling our story, and the African American Museum and Cultural Center is one way of doing that here in Prince George's County. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll take a short break, but stay with us. Up next, we'll learn about Prince George's County's role in the War of 1812 and how you can be a part of the commemoration. Telling Our Story in Prince George's County returns in just a moment. So that went well.
G morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me back. Hey, did you tell your parents about us? Let's skip first period together. Did you get all my texts? Is practice over yet? Where are you at? Are you with your friends? That's L-A-A-A-A-M-M-E-E-E. Capital X, lowercase o, capital X, lowercase o. I love you. JK. I hate you. JK. Are you ignoring me? We're in a huge fight right now. Is this something I did?
I can see your lights on. I'm coming over.
This isn't a joke. What'd you dream about? Me? I'm lonely. Holla back. Holla back. Let's try something new. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Welcome back to Telling Our Story in Prince George's County, a production of the Prince George's County Council. I'm Council Chair Andrea Harrison, your host. You're probably wondering how Prince George's County is part of the War of 1812. Aaron Markovich, who's the Executive Director of the Maryland Milestones Anacostia Trails Heritage Area Incorporated, has joined me with the answer. Thank you for sharing such an exciting story about our county's history. I want to begin with a short clip from a video you brought for our viewers.
It was a hot, dry summer in 1814. The formidable British Navy clashed with the young American forces in a significant battle in Bladensburg and what is now Cottage City in Prince George's County during the War of 1812. The well-trained British were fresh off pursuing Commodore Joshua Barney up the Patuxent River and marched across the county through Upper Marlboro toward Bladensburg. Their goal: attack Washington.
Well, that was a great video. Tell us more about the War of 1812 and the Battle of Bladensburg and how all of this relates to the history of Prince George's County.
Absolutely. Well, it is certainly, get a look at that video. We're showing it at the Bowie Bay Sox games before every game. So it's it gives people an insight, or Battle of Bladensburg1812.org is another place to find out a bit. The War of 1812, obviously we're at the 200th anniversary, happened in large part in Prince George's County. Everybody sort of will think, if you know anything about the War of 1812, about the Star-Spangled Banner and how that happened in Baltimore. But in reality, a lot of that lead-up actually happened in Prince George's County. British soldiers marched across the county, all the way from the little community of Nottingham on the Patuxent River, through Upper Marlboro, and then on to Bladensburg, where there was a significant battle, followed shortly by the burning of Washington. And on the Potomac River, there were actually several skirmishes at Fort Washington, and the Welby family, or the DeButt family at Mount Welby at Oxen Cove Park, which is a National Park Service site, wrote about seeing it. So the county was fully engaged, and of course the word would have been spreading through all the small farming communities. So it was a significant event in the county.
You have more than a decade of experience in historic preservation, in tourism, community development, and nonprofit management. How did you become involved in the War of 1812 commemoration in Bladensburg and Prince George's County?
I suppose it's one of those things that you don't become involved, it becomes involved in you. The governor has set aside the War of 1812 as a commemoration between 2012 and 2015, actually. And as part of Anacostia Trails Heritage Area, we were tasked to help lead a task force in the Bladensburg area, and we have become very much involved in all the different aspects of it.
Why is it important to commemorate such an event, and are there other Prince George's County communities that are actually involved in this?
Plenty of communities. Why is it important to commemorate? We actually get that question a lot. There was a program in Baltimore called Celebration where they brought all the tall ships in. Some of the viewers may have been to that. And we got that question quite a bit. Oh, why would we celebrate an event where we lost so badly? And again, if anybody knows anything about the history of it, the Americans did lose rather badly. They were ill-equipped, ill-led. They were fighting against one of the largest armies and navies in the world at the time, so it was intended to come out badly. But I often look at things like the Alamo and what gets promoted there, or there are many, many losses that American troops have suffered from, and we learn something from them. We learn about all those moments and those events, and there's no reason not to commemorate the bad things that have happened in the world.
It's all a part of history.
It is, absolutely.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
You got to tell it all. That's right.
What are some of the ways that we're actually going to do this commemoration? Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, I brought you a pin. Make sure you have one of those, and folks can grab those. We've got lots of different things that are going on. War of 1812 passport from Prince George's County Park and Planning. We've got an Undaunted brochure, and then we've also been part of the Star Spangled Banner National Historic Trail, which is this large planning document that was produced by the National Park Service. So there's been a lot of planning and a lot of preparation put together for this, and we're doing it through a series of events. We're trying to hold an event a month in the Bladensburg, Prince George's region, basically from about April until October, and in the winter we will do a series of lectures. So we try to have a bigger family style event each of the months.
Are there other local groups who are involved in this?
Absolutely. This is definitely not a program for Anacostia Trails Heritage Area by itself. We have a Battle of Bladensburg task force made up of representatives from Park and Planning, from the Amen Trust, Prince George's Heritage, National Park Service. All of the towns, the port towns, Bladensburg, Cottage City, Colmar Manor, Edmonston send representatives. Anacostia Watershed Society, because they're into George Washington House. So we have a big range. And then the next level is the county commemoration committee, and we have representatives from Upper Marlboro, from Fort Washington, Fred Tutman, who's the Patuxent River Keeper, and his work in Nottingham. So we have a large range of interested parties from all over the county working on this.
I mentioned earlier that you were the executive director of Maryland Milestones, the Anacostia Heritage Trails Heritage Area, Anacostia Trails Heritage Area.
It's a mouthful, that's right.
Tell our viewers what that is.
That's right. Anacostia Trails Heritage Area is a state-certified heritage area. There are 12 of them in the state, and we represent essentially the northern slice, the Route 1 corridor. We are a regional tourism program, so our goal is to work with the Conference and Visitors Bureau from the county and bring more tourists to the region, whether it is the history of Greenbelt, they're celebrating their 75th anniversary, or Laurel and their work with a new arts and entertainment district, or the existing Gateway Arts District, Joe's Movement Emporium, you name it. We try to work with them to bring more tourists in. And that's why we got tasked with helping lead this Battle of Bladensburg group, is because we see it as an economic development and a tourism driver.
You mentioned earlier the Star Spangled Trail.
Yep.
Talk about that. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, it's a federally initiated program. Ben Cardin has had a lot of influence on this, and it runs all the way from the southern part of Maryland, St. Mary's County, basically along the Patuxent, then cuts across Maryland 4 from Upper Marlboro, again into D.C. and Bladensburg, and then runs up the Baltimore-Washington Parkway up into Baltimore. There are water trail components, there are land components. StarSpangledTrail.net is the national website that will link this, and the local connection point is either Fort Washington, the fort itself, or Bladensburg Waterfront Park.
What's happening around the state?
Lots of stuff. In addition to the Star Spangled Trail, which is a federally initiated program, there's a group called Star Spangled 200, and they have been trying to raise money through a coin. There's a coin for sale that you can buy, and they're doing programs. They're the ones who helped lead the celebration in Baltimore this year in the Inner Harbor, where the estimates are over 1 million visitors that were at that program. And so the state itself has a bicentennial commission, and some of these small task forces are essentially offshoots of that process.
How can the public help with commemoration?
We love the public to be involved. The most important thing that we can say is come out to the events. Check out battleofbladensburg1812.org or princegeorges1812.org. They direct you to the same place. And there is an events calendar. We've got a big event coming up August 11th. That is the encampment at Riversdale Mansion in Riverdale Park. There will be all sorts of reenactors running around in wool in the hot sun, having a great time. There will be food and family activities, and it is just fantastic. So please do come out. But whenever you're on the website, feel free to add your name to our e-list. Send us an email, and we will find a way to put people to work.
You made mention of something called Undaunted. Mm-hmm. What is that?
Undaunted. Again, this is the name that we've come up with, the crossed flags and the undaunted imagery. This program is what we decided to name the local Bladensburg Task Force. The reason we chose that name is because we didn't win. So instead we remain undaunted, and there is actually going to be a very large bronze monument built at Peace Cross in Bladensburg that will commemorate this, and that is where that original name came from, is Undaunted in Battle.
Wonderful. So then tell us, how can the public find out more information about this commemoration, and even more about some of the history that occurred around the Battle of around the War of 1812? And the Battle of Bladensburg actually occurred in 1814.
Yes.
But how can they find out more? Where can they get more information? Where can they learn more about this history?
Absolutely. And I will point out, just as you say, 1814 is the actual, 2014 is the actual anniversary, so we're going to be doing some really big projects for that. We are going to be getting out information to the schools with pop-ups, pop-up displays, educational materials. So we've been working very hard on that to get it out to the children, and certainly at any of the park and planning, the waterfront park, they're building an exhibit in the large brick building there, so there will be an exhibit where people can come and find the information. And then again, those websites, either marylandmilestones.org, which is the organization, our organization, and that has events calendars on it and links to the history, or again, battleofbladensburg1812.org or princegeorges1812.org. Any of those websites will get you to that information, and you'll be able to link up and find out more.
Bladensburg Waterfront Park, is that where the visitor center will
be? That's correct. Bladensburg Waterfront Park, which is Annapolis Road, right near Peace Cross in Bladensburg. Park and Planning has been absolutely generous in establishing a visitor center there. And they have taken their natural resources materials and moved them to the far end of the park. And there will be an anniversary that happens on August 24th. Do some ribbon cutting, some dedication types of things. There is a Star Spangled Banner National Trail signage. And there will be a family day then on the 25th. And if anybody's looking for something to do on the evening of the 24th, come out to the Bowie Bay Sox. We'll be having a War of 1812 night. They can come and talk to me then.
Oh, that should be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm going to have to use my ticket.
That's it, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to join us and talk about some more of the history here in Prince George's County. That's it for this edition of Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. And I thank my guests who are working to share so hard and preserve the history and culture in Prince George's County. Make sure you visit the Prince George's Museum of African American History and Cultural Center, and you participate in the Great War of 1812 commemoration activities planned in Bladensburg and all across the county. See you there. Thanks for tuning in. Telling Our Story in Prince George's County is a production of the Prince George's County Council. I'm Council Chair Andrea Harrison and your host, and I love telling our story in Prince George's County.
every moment matters and a hand reaches out. When someone gives blood and a life is saved. That moment when heartbreak turns to hope, you're there through the American Red Cross. Every day, the Red Cross responds to nearly 200 neighborhood emergencies, and your support makes it possible. Use this moment to join us today. Visit redcross.org.